Welcome back to another video. So today you're gonna be watching a little time lapse of a painting. It's not completed because of the theme I'm gonna be talking about today. I'm not gonna give a proper advice, I'm rather just gonna talk a bit about my experience. The theme is what to do when you're working on a piece and you feel like the piece isn't going good, like it is looking wonky, it's looking bad, and you feel like you can't make it better, you can't improve it, and there's something telling you that it's gonna go wrong. I decided to talk about this because when I was doing this piece, I actually felt that way. I began painting, I had this idea for over a year or so. I had this little sketch on my last sketchbook and I really liked it. I planned to do it with oils, but I'm not that good with oils just yet to draw a shape and all these waves and things on her hair, so I decided to do it with watercolor and try this new pad I got. There's several factors going on here. For example, the pad is a new pad I've never tried before and the paper seems so good, but it's glued on 4 sides, so I thought, well, maybe I can use it here without taking the sheet off and taping it off in another board or something. So I decided to do it in the pad, but with that I couldn't use my computer as a lightbox and trace the sketch that I have previously. So I decided to trace it with tracing paper, and the paper left these big marks and very dark marks, and I've done it before with oils or acrylics because I knew that would be covered, but with watercolor it's different, so that began to get me nervous, like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to cover these marks, they're too dark. I tried erasing them and they, like, the color went off a bit, but still they are so dark. I mean, you can see them now, they're too dark. And usually when I work with watercolors I try to do very light marks, or I do the line work directly, so this made me very insecure. So this is bad because I already started the piece thinking, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna be able to fix this? And as the time went by and I was adding layers, I was getting more and more nervous because I felt like I wasn't improving. I think that when you feel this way, when you feel like you can't do a piece properly, is most of the times because all the work in progress stages are ugly. There's usually, when you're working on a piece and it's not completed, the piece looks weird. It looks a bit strange or odd and even bad. Sometimes you even think it's gonna turn out very badly, and then you add the final touches and you finish the piece and it looks perfect. I'm actually aware of that, but I don't know, sometimes we do let ourselves wander and feel nervous about this, and I think that's one thing we should try to change when we actually are doing a piece and we feel like it's not going as we want to. We should try to relax and to keep it going and make sure that to think it's not finished. I can't compare this piece with finished pieces because we're so used to see finished perfect pieces all over social media. We never see the ugly work in progress. When we see work in progress, it's probably because there's a bit finished and we don't see like the ugly bits, or we see finished sketches and things like that. So we don't really see the ugly stages because no one wants to post them. That makes us feel like other artists don't have ugly stages, but they do. I think everyone has ugly stages because I've heard so many talented artists talk about this. I'm pretty sure about that, I promise. I think if we try to disconnect from that bad thought, that usually helps. For me also, I was having kind of a bad day. I don't know, it's been so hot lately here in Spain. From like this last week we began to have this real hot weather, and honestly this makes me feel a lot like I don't want to do anything. And it's not only that, but I also feel, sometimes I feel actually physically tired and bad about not doing anything, but I can't do it because I feel actually tired. So there's another thing. And yesterday particularly, I was feeling a bit tired and a bit drained, I don't know, and this didn't help obviously, but usually when I'm working with pieces and I started feeling like that, I've pushed myself to keep going, to finish it, because I know when the finish point comes, it will be alright, it will be great. But there's also the opposite thing. I mean, sometimes you can't really force yourself. If you are feeling that the piece is not going well, and that's making you discouraged, I don't know, maybe you're not feeling good, you have to take into account that it's gonna get better, the piece is gonna get better as you go on. But if you don't feel too well, if you don't feel capable of continuing, then stop working and leave it there for tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, and just keep it on site so you can have the idea of, oh, I need to continue that, I can't just leave it like that. Take a break, take a walk around, I don't know, do something that distracts you and then come back. This usually helps me a lot. Just remember, if you don't feel convinced about everything of this, just remember other pieces, because I have experiences where I'm doing a piece, I'm very discouraged, and then by the end of the piece, maybe it's one of my favorites, maybe it looks perfectly fine. So do think back and do not get discouraged by this. I promise it will be better. So I hope you enjoyed this little chat. If you want to tell me about your opinions about this topic, because I know this happens to everyone, do let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this little time lapse. As I said, it's not finished because I couldn't bear myself to finish it, but I will, and I have it on site and I will finish it probably next week. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know your thoughts, please, about this. I would love to hear them, and I'll see you next week. Bye!